So today we're going to be talking about food photography using your iPhone. You can also use your DSLR camera, but I'm just using my iPhone today because it's super easy to do with today's iPhones or iPads. So here I've set up a very cute display. Easter's coming. My daughter made these delicious chocolate chip cookies. The recipe was by Joanna Gaines. She makes the best chocolate chip cookies, I will tell you. So one of the biggest things with food photography is the lighting. This is an all natural light setup. I'm gonna back up here so you can kind of see where I'm at. Natural light is the best for food photography, especially for those of you just doing this at home. This is our front door. And the lighting is super lovely this morning. So I set it up a little bit away from the front door. You don't want any real harsh shadows because that does not make the picture very pleasing to the eye. So this is what I kind of did. I found that this dark wood works really well with darker colored foods. And this, I liked this black and white check. It gave it a little pop of color. And because it's Easter, I thought it would be really fun. I stacked the cookies on the plate. Then I broke one apart and I used some chocolate chips and kind of scattered them, plus the tablespoon and the teaspoon and things like that, just to make the picture more interesting. And so then what you do is the best angle generally for taking food photography is from up above so you can see everything. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. And then I might come in closer. I might turn my camera this way and get in closer to take a picture. But really from up above is the best way to take pictures. You might go something like that, but this looks really great from up above taking a picture. I, a lot of times, will do a diagonal picture. That is always interesting. I might go down in closer. I will probably show you some of the images afterwards that I took, but I wanted to kind of show you how I set it up and where I set this particular setup in my house. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to edit the chocolate chip picture that we took, chocolate chip cookie picture. So here is the chocolate chip cookie picture, and I'm going to go up to the right-hand corner and hit edit. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it. So I'm going to show you two ways to edit this, and this is the first way. We're going to crop it in close so it just shows the black and the white towel. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to actually come down just a hair more. There we go. So I'm going to click done on the right-hand bottom. And then I'm going to go back up into edit and I'm going to adjust the exposure a little bit. We want to make sure that we have the plate is white, but we want to make sure it's got a pattern on it that you can still see the pattern. Then I'm going to go over to Brilliance and adjust that a little bit. Highlights makes it brighter or darker so you can bring back the details of things. Shadows is a big one for these pictures, so I'm going to increase the shadows to take away any of the shadows that might be there. There's not many. I'm going to go into contrast, and this kind of sharpens things up and darkens them, or it kind of makes them a little bit hazier or not as crisp. I kind of like it crisp. The brightness, I don't need to adjust that at all. Black point, this is a unique one where it can make it look more like a matted picture, which I kind of like, or you can make it more vibrant colors and things like that. I like the more matted look, so to speak, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then you have saturation, where you can adjust the saturation of the colors of the picture. Vibrance, you can adjust that too. Warmth, this is going to help look how it makes the cookies pop. So here, this is what the cookies look like to begin with, and then it makes them look even more yummy. So we have tint, sharpness. I kind of like the way mine is already. Definition, noise reduction takes away any of the pixelation if you have any, but this is a pretty crisp and clear picture. And vignette, the vignette, you can do that and you look at the edges of the picture. If you look at the edges of the picture, it kind of makes them darker. I don't want any vignette on my picture. This looks pretty good. I am going to go back because I see at the bottom of the picture where you can kind of see a little bit of those balls and from the towel. So I'm going to make it go up just a hair and click done. And there is my final picture. I think that looks pretty good. Another way to edit the chocolate chip pictures. So I pulled up this picture because it has the cute little balls down at the bottom and it's got the dark wood floor. So let's go ahead and click edit. And I'm trying to decide, let me click the crop tool. I'm gonna bring it down just a hair and bring it up, but I wanna keep those cute little balls in the picture down at the bottom of the towel. So that looks good to me. So now I'm gonna go down to the bottom and click the little button that looks like a clock and start adjusting. Let's adjust the exposure. Let's adjust the brilliance. Remembering we wanna keep the plate's details. Highlights, you can go either way. You can see that you can still see the details in the plate. The shadows, we're gonna bump the shadows up. Contrast, if you wanna sharpen it a little bit, that looks pretty good. Brightness, I don't need to do anything there. Black point, I like it a little bit matted, so I'm going to mute it a little bit. Personal preference. Saturation, you can go ahead and make it a little sharper. Vibrance, you can make it have the colors pop a little bit more. Warmth, let's make those cookies look really yummy. See how they went from, here they are regular, and look how yummy they start to look now. They were really delicious regardless. And I think that's pretty good, but you see how I'm using the wood floor now with the contrast of the cookies and everything like that. So I'm pretty happy with this picture. I'm not gonna adjust it anymore, but that's just another way to do the same setup, but using the wood floor and kind of on a diagonal. So now I'm over in my studio using all natural light once again. A great tip is if your window light is super harsh, you can use like a white sheer curtain to help diffuse the light, which is what I have in my studio, which helps tremendously, but it's just another little tip. I have a white floor in my studio, so I thought it would be really great against this white bowl. We have oatmeal here. This is what I eat every morning with walnuts and strawberries and blueberries and some cinnamon. So I have the extra ingredients, a spoon, some cinnamon, the bowl, and then a tea towel. A tea towel is something that is also great for food photography. So you can go ahead and use this. I thought this was great because it had the red and white check, which goes along with the strawberries. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I would potentially set this up. So I would turn this tea towel kind of diagonal and then put this kind of not all the way on it, but halfway on it. And then go ahead, and I'm doing this backwards to show you, and put the spoon, you can just play around with it, but I would have the spoon kind of like, maybe more like that. Then I'm gonna take my ingredients and lay them around. And I even cut up some of the strawberries. So we have whole strawberries and then we have cut up strawberries because that adds extra dimension and it makes it more interesting portrait. So just, you know, always know to do a little bit something extra with that. We've got the blueberries, the walnuts. Oh, I love walnuts. I'm gonna flip that one. Let me have that one kind of maybe on here because it has a little bit of the white. Let's put that one, let's move the cinnamon out of the way and then just kind of sprinkle your extra ingredients because that makes it more interesting. Let's get some walnuts on this. We're kind of setting this up for you. And let's see. Put a little walnut over there. We need some blue and another little walnut there. Let me move this so you can kind of see it a little. Nope, move it backwards. Okay. There you go. So you can kind of see the scene. And now with my cinnamon, I can sprinkle it just kind of all around. And it just adds an extra little pop and it pops off of the white background. So I think this looks really great and I'm gonna go ahead and take some pictures so you can see what the final product looks like. Okay, so now we're gonna go into our pictures and here is our oatmeal picture. What we're going to do is we're gonna edit this picture to make it look even better. Now, as you can see, it's not the right positioning. So I'm gonna click up in the right-hand corner. You'll see the word edit. You're gonna hit that button. And now it pops up with all of these things. The first thing I'm gonna do is go into the little crop down here at the bottom where it says cancel. Then there's like this little clock thing and the 3 little circles and then the crop tool. So I'm gonna hit crop. Up at the top left corner, you can flip your picture. So the first one kind of looks like a triangle. The second one is you can flip it. So I'm gonna flip it again, and flip it one more time. And so I like that. And then I'm going to crop it in just a hair over here and a hair over here. And then I think that's good for that. So then I'm going to come down to where the 3 little circles are at the bottom of your screen, and I'm gonna tap that. I'm not gonna use any of those. That allows you to change things if you wanna use these different things. I generally don't use those, so I'm gonna keep it at original. Then I'm gonna go over to here where the little clock is down by the bottom, and I'm gonna tap that, and now it lets me adjust things individually. So I'm gonna slide it over to exposure. This is a little dark for me, so I'm going to brighten it up. Then I'm gonna slide it over again, and brilliance, I'm gonna add just a little bit to that. Highlights, I don't need to do anything with that. You can slide it either way, it brightens or darkens. Shadows are a huge thing with food photography, so I want to brighten those shadows. And then contrast is another big one. Whereas if you slide it this way, you see how the fruit, like here it was, and then they're dark in the oatmeal bowl, then you slide it and it makes it a little brighter. I don't need to brighten it anymore. The black point, which is interesting, so if you like pictures to have that matte feel, you can slide it and it'll give it that matte feel, which I kind of like. So I'm gonna leave it there for that. And then I think this picture looks really great. So I'm gonna hit done. And now that is my picture that I would post for my food photography showing my oatmeal.